Hi guys, back in the studio again for the first time in a long time. So today is kind of a combination video of what I have been collecting for the last couple months. As far as supplies go and whatnot, my hair is just crazy. Sorry about the shaky, this table is ridiculously unstable. And also kind of a little chat about a deity that I've been kind of in contact with lately. So first off, we're actually going to talk about what I found. And I'm going to try to not touch this table as much as possible just because of the shaking. So I found both of these little guys at a thrift store. I don't know what they say because my phone is stupid and I have to install the app for Google Translate. So I haven't been able to actually take a picture, but I'm pretty sure they're like hand painted, right? And they're both different. That one has a tongue sticking out. But I found them in a thrift store and I really, really loved them for some reason. So I bought them. And they've kind of just been sitting on my altar for nobody in particular. I'm probably going to put them in my ancestor altar, which is coming along quite nicely. Funny note about that is what I've been thinking. Like, my entire family has a bad history of being alcoholics. And a lot of people use wine as offerings. And I was like, well, with the history of everybody being a little boozy, I don't know if wine would be the best offering. I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to wonder about. So these guys will probably go on my ancestor altar, and I'm an idiot, so I don't know. I'm going to say Japanese. And usually they don't make dolls without a purpose. So if these are like some kind of little spirit dolls and there's demons in here, they haven't done anything bad so far. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with them. But I found them at a thrift store. Also, today I found 2 jars, because witches never can have enough jars. And these are actually really cheap. And they're glass, so they've got a little seal on here. The other one doesn't really work quite so well. So just dry stuff that I'm going to put in there. And I have 2 bottles of dandelion oil going in the cupboard because I've decided to go with the keep it in the dark version rather than put it in the sun version, mostly because I don't have a window that is actually very accessible with sun. That's where my plants are, and they keep like leaning and leaning, so I took them outside because there's not a lot of sun there. Also, I found one of these, finally, the little cup and teapot that fit inside each other. I got this at the thrift store, but apparently it came from Pier 1 before that. I haven't used it yet, but I finally found one that was like $3. Fine. I'll just get it because I've been wanting one forever. You might notice a trend that I like teapots a little too much. So those are a couple of things that I picked up over the last couple weeks. Another thing that I got that I do not have with me, it's still in the car, because we cleaned the car and I forgot to bring it up, is a really nice shawl. Like, it's a long black piece of fabric that could be used as a scarf or a shawl or any number of things. And I have been kind of lately called to covering my hair, not like, contrary to popular belief, pagans do cover their hair sometimes, and most of the time it's in kind of a reverent way to Hestia. And thinking back on it now, I'm like, you know what? Every woman in my family, they decided to get down to business and clean out some random cupboard. They would tie their hair up in usually a handkerchief and just like start maniacally cleaning, and everybody else in the entire house knew not to mess with them when they were cleaning. So I'm like, maybe this is a trend. They don't realize what they're doing, but since Hestia is like god of housekeeping, basically like hearth and home and being domestic and being a very good housewife, even though she wasn't married and she was a virgin, but it was just the idea of that when they decided to get down and clean shit, and they would put on their headscarf, and I guess it could be to keep dust out. But we're not going with that. We're going with the kind of underlying reverence to a hearth goddess that I think is kind of cross-cultural too. You know, when you cover your hair and go to work, housework. And so I started to do a little more research on Hestia, and I do a lot of house cleaning. So I bought that shawl just kind of to experiment with covering my hair when I do it, and then thinking about maybe working with her a little bit. So I don't really have room up with my other altars out there, so she's gonna probably have a little altar in a different spot. But yeah, so I've been experimenting with that a little bit lately. Only the last couple of days. It hasn't been very long. But I'm kind of excited because I've had 2 gods and 1 goddess for a really long time. I feel like the more feminine energy that I'm working with, probably the better, because I have a hard time connecting to my feminine side, as you know. I've mentioned this before. So just wanted to kind of give you a little update on that. And I think we're actually going to do the fire sign next. And I can't think off the top of my head whether May is not a fire month. Anyway, we're doing it anyway. Because I'm just finishing out my earth element month, and I think I'm going to start my fire element month next and do a lot of work with Hestia and see kind of where that goes. She seems kind of earthy, but also the fire is very important to her, keeping the fire going. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to focus on fire throughout the month of May. And after that, I don't know which one I'm going to do. But we're also going to come back and redo some. I'm probably not going to mention it, but I'm going to be doing that in my actual practice. I think I made a lot of progress with this Earth Element month, sticking to kind of the same vibe and the same sort of spells and the same sort of rituals and doing a lot of grounding and ancestor work. I think it's worked a lot. Very well. So I'm going to try to focus on the fire element next. So everybody have a wonderful day. I'm glad I got to talk to you, and sorry about not posting lately. God, my head is cut off up there. It has been a crazy week. Doing a lot of errands and planning and all kinds of things. Also, I hope Hestia can help bring some maybe balance to domestic life as well. That'd be really nice. So, everybody have a wonderful day. Blessed be your Friday. Have a good night. I will see you all maybe tomorrow. Stupid thing. It never